Welcome into TexAgs Rewind, presented by Specs, the 4-time National Retailer of the Year. And we're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. I'm David Nunez. I'm back after taking a couple days off. In the studio with Nick Savage behind the glass and Ava Davis at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Ava, favorite part of the program?
My favorite part of the program today was Go Hour with OB.
I need specifics. What about it made you happy?
Well, I think OB is really funny. I like getting here from OB, but I was excited to talk about the recruits that are coming in and just going over all that and seeing what they have done, but also like what is still going on.
Yep. Okay. Nick, what was your favorite part of the show?
You being back. How about that? How sweet. How
But
wholesome.
It's not often that you go sweet on me, but I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Maybe pick a different wording there. But anyways.
You know what my favorite part of the show was?
What?
Tyler Beatty, going by the name of Tyler Bidet, excuse me. Did you catch that part of the interview?
I heard that.
Nobody, like,
Don't do that.
When did it become cool to change your name like 75% into your life? Right? Like,
I'm going to go by Savage. Thank you very much.
Nick Savage. What else was on the rewind?
We had Chris Lee, Southeastern 16.
Yep.
You were talking to Nate Edwards when you figured that little bidet out. And then OB, like you said. And of course, Josh Pate.
Josh Pate was great. By the way, I've never used the bidet. It's the rewind. Texas A&M is positioning. That's what they've been doing. That's why they hired Trev Alberts a little over a year ago. And we will see what the future looks like, because in the next 7 days, a week from today, the new era of college football or college athletics begins as the next phase of NIL era, the clearinghouse era, if you will, begins. And yesterday, I was not there. You were at a press conference with Trev Alberts where he kind of laid out the framework for what Texas A&M is going to be doing here with all these changes in college sports.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And, you know, I don't know what anybody's, you know, I have your opinion on Trev Alberts. But you have to admit he's organized and forward thinking.
Yep.
He's trying to anticipate. He's always has been trying to anticipate the changes you talked about in college sports and how to navigate them.
Yep.
And a lot of it is bringing in money and then figuring out how to disperse it.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, we're going to judge Trev Alberts, we are, I believe, on how successful the programs are in the new era, right? So how he hires coaches, right?
Right.
Keeping Coach Early, Bucky McMillan, all the changes, right? And how successful these programs are. And one of the comments he talked about is the modernization of college sports. I forget the exact quote, but can A&M stay above the changes, and can they stay above everybody else as we continue to evolve?
Well, he seems to feel like they can. Again, he said this is our time.
Yep.
We'll see. He even acknowledged, yeah, I've heard that before. You know, maybe not from him. But look, the future of college sports is about, it is the, how would you say this? Not just the payment of players, but I guess the organized payment of players.
Yep. It's twofold to that, though, right? I think you have to have the right coach, and you have to have the right quarterback, right? And the right quarterback doesn't have to be the best quarterback. Will Howard, last year, was not the best quarterback in college football. He was the right quarterback for that system, especially late.
That is something that I think could play out again this year, conditionally, just across the country. I'm not even talking about A&M, but the concept of, in this era, the portal era, we do see a lot of movement at that position. Therefore, you see more guys at a second or third stop than you used to see. Well, what that does, sort of as an unintended consequence, is it measures staffs against each other. If I watch Will Howard play for you for 3 years, and this was his maximum potential, so to speak, then he comes to me and he's 20% better, well, what does it say about you? I'm not casting aspersions on Kansas State. I'm speaking generically. What if Carson Beck just lights it up at Miami this year? I don't know what that says about Mike Bobo or what it says about Georgia or whatnot. So I do think also, though, you fast forward at any given period, you fast forward 5 years down the road, and everything about your roster would be crystal clear. Because by 5 years from now, either your results or the NFL draft and NFL production or a combination of all of that will tell the entire story of what you have on your roster 5 years prior. Well, we don't get the benefit of looking into that crystal ball. But what always amazes me is look at teams that win at a high level in college, hit the fast forward button 5 years. The teams that won, and then you look back in retrospect and you realize they were doing it without a future all-pro at this position or that position, especially quarterback. That to me is the most under talked about, underwritten about impressive part of this sport. Everyone just looks at a winner as a winner. Well, all due respect to LSU 2019, you got Joe Burrow at quarterback. Okay, that's amazing. But what if you rewind a few years and you had like Jake Coker at quarterback and you won? Well, that to me is the trophy looks the same, but it's a little different story.
But a team that I think, regardless of if you're an insider or not, you look at them and go, I think Elko's got them on the right path. So where do you see A&M?
Well, I think number one, year two of Elko, which I think can be big. Sometimes it takes everybody a year, especially with all the moving parts in college football. You talked about the defense falling off. They had a ton of talent. They lost some of that to the league. But it feels like they've always recruited pretty good defensive talent. I don't recall many years where A&M was just bad on that side of the ball. And I think offensively, felt like when Moss got hurt, that's when it kind of started to fall apart. And you've got a quarterback in Marcel Reed, who was, by the way, a big-time prospect in Nashville that we heard about from a pretty early age in his high school career, who kind of came into his own when he got the opportunity. And I guess you've got more mobile quarterbacks in the league this year, so maybe it's a little easier to defend him because you see him more. But he's got that dimension, and you add Moss to that. They're pretty tough to stop when it's going. And, oh, by the way, you got a pretty good tackle in Zune, too, who can help a bit. They're an interesting one this year.
Well, I think it kind of reminds me of old school football where they're going to try to run the ball down your throat. And I think from a wide receiver perspective, they really haven't had the speedsters that they have this year in Casey Concepcion and Mario Craver and Terry Bussey in his second year. So I feel like they can be a hybrid team that you know what they're going to want to do. It's just run the ball down your throats.
Yeah, and those guys on the perimeter are good enough. Concepcion and those guys are good enough. I think it worked for them in spots for a long time last year. Again, you lost maybe the key guy to that other than your quarterback and Moss, but you get him back healthy. It looks a lot different. And, oh, by the way, the one thing I forgot on the defense, they've got a lockdown dude at corner. And that is one of those commodities. If you're starting a team, I guess you always build from the trenches. But you give me a guy that can lock down another guy's guy, and you can do a lot of stuff. I think Will Lee's going to be a key to them too.
Yeah, I mean, we paid for Bo Pribula, so I'm assuming that he's going to be the primary guy to get at least the first team snaps as we go forward. Don't forget, we have a 4-star upperclassman in Sam Horn. Now, he has been splitting his time between baseball and football. He was injured in baseball last year, so he missed all of last season and really didn't get to see any play. But he was healed up by the time we got to the bowl, and we got to see a little bit of him during practice. Here's the thing. Bo Pribula is about as close to a Brady Cook clone as you are going to get. So if Eli Drinkwitz and Kirby Moore, our offensive coordinator, are looking to do a seamless transition from Cook and keep something consistent, Pribula would be your guy. He's a lot more mobile. He's got a lot more experience. So that's probably going to be the guy. But it sounds like, Horn's getting plenty of reps, getting plenty of opportunities to take the job as well. And he's been with the team the longest. So at this point, I'd say your betting favorite's going to be Pribula with the experience and mobility, but I won't count out Sam Horn. We'll see what shakes out in August.
What does the fan base, what do analysts that cover the team locally feel about this team this year? Because, was it 2 out of the last 3 years, 10-win seasons? They seem like a program that's figured it out, but you lose a lot of talent, and Missouri is not Georgia. Missouri is not some of these bigger programs, Alabama, that you can lose the talent and you're guaranteed it's right back to where it was.
Yeah. And they've been able to try to get around the fact that they don't recruit at an Alabama or A&M or Georgia level by being really, really good at the portal, which is a strength of its own, and they hit a lot on their portal acquisitions. Now, the thing about portal players they take about a year to really get going. And so you can't rely on that sort of thing to be just a 1-year fix and no drop off. So when you're thinking about this team and you think about this Missouri team this year, I think a lot of fans are very positive. We've added a lot of good offensive transfers through the portal. Obviously, we've won 21 games in the past 2 years. Stock is high. Eli Drinkwitz's faith in him, it's very high. I'm the one sitting here going, I don't know, guys. I think we're kind of due for a crash back down to reality. If you look at the past couple seasons, obviously 2023 was very impressive, but 2024, with returning everybody, Missouri was very lucky to win 10 games. There's a lot of close one-score games. Now, that's Eli Drinkwitz's specialty is winning one-score games, but they were very lucky in doing that too.
Tell the people what to do.
Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and come back tomorrow for more.
Great answer. We'll see you next time.